Before delving into the subtle behaviors and interaction patterns between men and women, it is essential to correct a common misconception. What are often referred to as women's psychological weaknesses are not personal flaws or individual deficiencies, but recurring psychological and behavioral patterns. Men who recognize and understand these patterns possess a clear interactive advantage in both social and emotional relationships, an advantage rooted not in dominance, but in understanding. This perspective is grounded in evolutionary and behavioral psychology research, such as David Buss's work on the psychology of sexual preferences, where these traits are viewed as adaptive mechanisms shaped over time. Accordingly, the focus of this video is not on exploitation or manipulation, but on the rational application of knowledge to improve relational dynamics and build more conscious, balanced connections. 1. Heightened emotional sensitivity. Women tend to process emotional cues more deeply, a tendency associated with higher activity in the amygdala, as indicated by studies in behavioral neuroscience. Neuroscience and Biobehavioral Reviews, 2014. This depth of processing makes them more attuned to words, tone, and the emotional context surrounding communication. As a result, balanced verbal expression, measured compliments, and emotional steadiness exert a clearer influence on interaction, not as tools of manipulation, but as fundamental components of conscious and effective communication management. 2. Sensitivity to rejection and the need for external validation. Fear of rejection represents a common psychological driver and can sometimes lead to seeking external approval as a means of compensating for fragile self-esteem. As outlined in social psychology models addressing low self-worth, Psychology Today, 2013. Within this framework, selective and non-excessive affirmation plays a significant role in shaping psychological safety, fostering a sense of acceptance and stability without requiring constant intervention or emotional expenditure. 3. Tendency toward overthinking and anticipatory anxiety. Excessive thinking often arises from social conditioning that encourages continuous emotional analysis of events, leading to the construction of negative, hypothetical mental scenarios. This phenomenon is well documented in studies on rumination within the Journal of Abnormal Psychology. In such cases, calm communication and clear, logical responses contribute to rapidly reducing anticipatory anxiety and restoring cognitive balance. 4. The need for security and emotional containment. Many women's attraction to men with a strong leadership presence stems from evolutionary psychological mechanisms where the sense of safety is linked to emotional stability and the capacity for containment rather than material strength alone. This is articulated in David Buss's The Evolution of Desire, where calm control and situational composure are perceived as unconscious signals of reliability and competence, thereby enhancing attraction without exaggeration or performance. 5. Response to scarcity and social value. Research in social psychology, particularly Cialdini's scarcity principle, demonstrates that what is not easily available is instinctively perceived as more valuable. Within this context, men who avoid excessive availability tend to elevate their social standing indirectly, as limited attention itself becomes a source of attraction. 6. Susceptibility to charismatic leadership. Contemporary relationship studies indicate that attraction often gravitates toward men with a clear psychological framework and balanced charismatic presence. Conversely, excessive displays of emotional vulnerability are sometimes interpreted as signals of instability. Natural leadership, grounded in clarity and calm decisiveness, reshapes relational dynamics and positions the man as an influential presence without confrontation. 7. Erosion of identity within emotional dependency. In certain unhealthy relational patterns, a gradual erosion of individual identity occurs as a result of emotional dependency, a phenomenon documented in studies on codependency within psychological science. In contrast, a man who preserves psychological independence and personal boundaries maintains relational equilibrium, allowing self-stability to function as an organizing force within the dynamic, without the need for overt imposition. These psychological patterns can be navigated through precise, rational responses. Emotional sensitivity is met with attentive listening without rushing to solutions, accelerating trust formation. Fear of rejection is managed through limited, targeted affirmation that reinforces connection without excess. Overthinking is eased through brief, calm questions that reduce immediate anxiety, while the need for security is addressed through emotional steadiness and behavioral consistency that strengthen attraction at an unconscious level. Regulating communication frequency activates the effect of scarcity and elevates perceived social value, while making small, clear decisions establishes natural leadership that organizes the dynamic without friction. Finally, maintaining personal independence prevents descent into dependency and lays the foundation for sustainable relational balance. These approaches are applied gradually, with effects assessed over short periods not for the purpose of control, but to manage interaction consciously within the framework of attraction psychology.